Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another amazing story.
Always ready.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into Iron Flame
hmm
by Rebecca Yarros. It's a world of dragons, and it's a sequel, but
Oh, don't worry about that. We'll catch everyone up. Even if you haven't read the first book, you'll be fine.
okay, perfect. So, imagine a kingdom, Navarre, protected by these magnificent creatures, dragons, and their riders.
It's a world constantly under threat. The stakes are incredibly high. These protectors, they have a huge responsibility defending their land and their people.
Right. And our main character, Violet Sorrengail, she's already survived her first year at this intense academy where they train dragon riders.
Oh, it's brutal. They push these cadets to their absolute limits, physically and mentally.
But for Violet, the challenges are even bigger in her second year.
Yeah, it gets even more complex. It's not just about, being strong or flying dragons anymore. There's betrayal, power struggles, and she uncovers a dangerous secret. A secret that could change everything.
And this secret, it's connected to the academy itself,
Hmm.
something hidden within its walls. Imagine that. She knows it could put everyone in danger.
And she can't tell anyone, not even the people she loves. It's a huge test for her. Her loyalty, her judgment. Can she stay calm under pressure?
And on top of that, there's a new vice commander. He's relentless. He pushes her to the edge, even tries to manipulate her into betraying, well, the man she loves.
Speaking of her relationship with this man, Exaladin, it's complicated.
It's a web of intense feelings, conflicting loyalties, secrets on top of secrets.
Their dynamic, it's one of the most fascinating parts of the story. You start to question their motives, their choices. Can they even survive all of this together?
And then there are the dragons. Each one is so unique. I mean, they have their own personalities, strengths, weaknesses, even quirks.
They're almost like extensions of their writers, like they reflect their inner selves.
I love that.
You have Tern. He's powerful, known for being fierce. Then there's Andarna, still young, finding her own way. And Selgil. Well, he's as ruthless as his writer.
Whoa.
Hmm.
And Navarre's enemies, they had their own scary creatures, right?
Yeah, the Venin, they're corrupted using dark magic. And they command these beings called Guivernos.
What are those?
Imagine, like a mix of a dragon and a bat, but monstrous. Twisted. They're a serious threat to Navarre.
Wow.
And to fight this threat, there's this unexpected alliance. Dragons and griffins. Historically, they've been enemies, but now they have to work together.
That's got to be tense.
Yeah.
So we've got conflict brewing within the academy and out in the world. But let's talk about how the book has been received. Iron Flame is part of a series that's become hugely popular. I mean, some even compared to like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's a New York Times bestseller. There's even going to be a TV show. The author has created a world and characters that really resonate with people.
But of course, not everyone loves every book.
True.
Some critics say that the pacing in Iron Flame is a little off, like some parts are slow. And there's been some debate about Violet's character development, that her choices make sense. Which brings us to an interesting point. Even in a fantasy story, there's room for different opinions. And that's what I love about these deep dives. We get to really explore those different opinions, find deeper meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to Violet and Zayden's relationship, I mean, some people call it toxic. I could see why some of their actions are kind of.
Red flags,
Yeah.
yeah. It's interesting, though, how it reflects real life stuff.
Yeah.
You've got Zayden, so protective of her, wants to keep her safe in this crazy world. But he comes across as controlling sometimes.
And Violet always doubting herself. Like she needs his approval all the time, even if it means like pushing herself too far or going against what she believes in.
It's this push and pull between love and power. You wonder, can they really trust each other? Or will their enemies use it against them? Imagine being in a relationship where your partner is always trying to shield you, but it feels like they're holding you back too.
Yeah, that's a tough one, especially with everything else going on. Their lives are constantly at risk, surrounded by enemies, all these secrets they're keeping.
So how much of their behavior is like genuine love? And how much is just them reacting to all the pressure? Are they really connected? Or is it just a way to cope?
Right, right. And what does it say about Violet that she's drawn to him, to this powerful, kind of mysterious guy? Is she being weak? Or is there a strength in wanting that protection in a world that feels so chaotic?
These are the kind of questions that make you think, especially if you've experienced those dynamics yourself. This book, it's not just dragons and magic, it's real emotions, real relationship struggles.
For sure. Love, trust, betrayal, wanting control.
Yeah.
These are themes everyone can relate to. I think that's why Iron Flame is so popular. It makes you think about your own experiences.
It does. It challenges you. Like, what would you do in that situation? Would you make the same choices? Would you sacrifice your own happiness for the greater good?
Whoa, heavy stuff. And speaking of the greater good, we can't forget what's happening in the rest of the story. A whole kingdom is at stake here.
Exactly. Violet's decisions affect everyone. So what should she prioritize? Her own life, Exoden, or her duty to protect her people?
That's the big question, isn't it? Love versus duty. Personal happiness versus everyone else. We've seen that in stories forever.
It's a classic.
And that's why Iron Flame gets to us, I think. Those universal conflicts. Makes you think, what would I do?
And that's why these deep dives are so great. We're not just talking about the plot. It's about those bigger themes, you know? The moral dilemmas, the psychology of it all. That's what makes Iron Flame so interesting.
Okay, so we've talked about the tough training, the secrets of the Academy, the Venom, their scary creatures, and Violet and Zayden's whole complicated thing. But there's something else we haven't really gotten into. Like, what do all these things mean? The symbolism, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Symbolism, it adds so much to a story. And Yarros, she uses it really well in Iron Flame. Think about the dragons, for example. They represent power, freedom, the wild side of human nature, maybe.
Interesting. So, taming a dragon, learning to ride it, that could be like us conquering our fears, right? Mastering our inner demons.
Exactly. And all that intense training Violet goes through, that could represent the struggles we all have in life. Pushing our limits, facing our weaknesses, coming out stronger in the end.
I like that. And the Venom, they're not just bad guys.
Right. They're like this embodiment of corruption on a personal level, on a bigger level. Greed, power, using other people. Their whole existence, it makes you think about evil, about what happens when you want power too much.
It's almost like a reflection of our own world.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have the dragons and griffins teaming up. They've been enemies for so long, it makes you hopeful, you know? Maybe even in a world full of conflict, we can still find unity.
We can set aside our differences, work together, because sometimes there's a bigger threat out there.
That's such a powerful message, especially now. There's so much division in the world. It reminds us that we have more in common than we think.
Totally agree. So if you want a story that makes you think, that blends action and romance with all these deeper themes, you know, love, betrayal, survival, Iron Flame is definitely worth checking out. It really sticks with you. It makes you think.
Yeah.
And if you want to like really get into the story, you know, really feel it, I'd recommend the audiobook.
Oh, audiobooks are the best for that.
They are. You can hear all the emotion, the details.
The narrator can really bring the characters to life. It adds a whole other dimension.
And you can listen anywhere.
Yeah.
Driving, at the gym, just chilling at home,
Yeah.
multitasking.
Yep. Yep. And they're such good gifts. You know, if you have a friend who's into fantasy.
Perfect gift idea. And speaking of, if you're looking for your next audiobook, we've got a link in the comments where you can download Iron Flame for free. Give it a listen. See what you think.
We always love hearing what you guys think.
We do. And thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We love bringing you these conversations.
If you enjoyed it, maybe consider supporting the channel.
Yeah, your support means a lot. It helps us keep making these deep dives, exploring all these amazing topics.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.
So yeah,